it was one of those teachers, Tartang Tulku,
Yes, Tartan
that
Tuku.
helped you.
Yeah, Tartan Tuku didn't interfere with this stage. That was before Tartan Tuku. Then with Tartan Tuku, I received the empowerment of enlightenment. Let me say it straight, you know, to awaken me to my Buddha nature. I was so much trapped in light. I loved light. I was like, receive light and bathe in light and transmit light and do healing with light. Beautiful. I was young. I was excited. I was a therapist, a healer, all of those things, you know. But then when in 76, you know, I started the journey of therapy 66, and 76, 10 years later, I had the empowerment from Tartan Tuku to awaken. So he knocked me out of the light, like the light was enough. This is kids stuff, let's go now more, you know. You could spend your life having your 4th of July and your all of those things, but let's go to the sky. Let's open up to what's beyond it. That made me realize my enlightened nature, my Buddha nature. That shifted everything. That opened the system and of course brought up 100 million issues. Nobody told me, you know. You think by getting enlightened, that's it. No, hell starts. You know, if you think you're in hell before enlightenment, wait till you get to enlightenment. You know, really. Because every issue that was stored in my fascias, in my tissues, in my body, in my unconscious, the radiance of being excavated it. All the bats of my unconscious hiding in the caves of my unconscious excavated, you know. So it was like glorious in terms of opening and feeling free from the mind, but horrifying in terms of how much shows it was revealing, you know, really like Frankenstein and everything was coming up. With the power of the enlightened nature and to be in it and to stabilize in it and dealing continually processing the issues. Here is this chunk about my mother, this is chunk about my father, this chunk about my childhood. They were all stored in my unconscious, in my body, mind, psyche. Being able to utilize my bioenergetics training as a therapist in bioenergetics, my psychological training, all of that helped me to sort out those things. Otherwise, it would have been crazy, you know. So I use grounding, processing, rationalizing those irrational fears to events that took place in my childhood. So I could see that the fears and the hurts and the anger are coming from my history. So with the power of the being, with the force being with you, with the force at least was with me, I was able also to release all of these issues. And each time I replace one big chunk, it transforms. My body opens up in a certain way and certain secretion begin to flow in my system. I remember my teacher said, every armoring, every tension, every muscle that you feel that's holding, when it relaxes, it's gonna open, there is nectar in it. Sense this nectar, sense this amrita. So each time the heart open, I feel sweetness. Each time the belly open, I feel solidity. Each time the head open, I feel clarity and precision. So little by little, as I stabilized through the enlightened state itself and through handling the psychological issues, I was able to enjoy the manifestation that was beginning to open up in my inner field. And one of them was, I remember the chandelier. I think it must have been 1980, 1982, you know. I remember exactly the chandelier came, and after that came the movie Close Encounter of the Third Kind. And the vehicle that came in the end of the movie, the spaceship, was exactly how I perceived the chandelier descending.
Oh, wow.
I was perceiving the universe and stillness and silence. Then from the depth of the universe above my head, I could feel a hum and something descending, shining with lights and colors. And I could feel as the closer it come to my body humming. And every cell was humming with higher and higher frequency. And the frequency was full of joy. I felt like I cannot sit. I want to stand up. I know why Krishna had to get up and dance. It felt like that. Then I could see that above my head, I looked and I see this multicolored vehicle. Another earthquake. Powerful. We better not talk about vehicles and holy city.
And Krishna. Okay, it's passed.
I believe that when Krishna had the experience of the chandelier, he just got up and danced. I felt as if there something so joyous and festive in my system began to awaken, lifting off the depression, lifting off the gloom about the world, and that the world is full of life and light and music and vibration and all of those things. This feeling was missing because I was caught in issues. And when issues lifted off, this vehicle landed, it brought this. Then I said, oh wow, this chandelier, this looks like a chandelier. And the chandelier is mentioned in so many religions. It's mentioned in the Quran. It's mentioned in traditions. Moroccan have those chandeliers from the beginning of time, thousands of years ago. Fascinating.
What is the word in Arabic for chandelier?
For chandelier, thuraya is a chandelier, and mishkat. Mishkat is a chandelier.
And Faisal, were you alone the first time that you experienced this? Were you in meditation? Were you with a group?
Yeah, most of them alone. Most of them, I have them my own unfoldment. Then I started sharing them with Almas, and bringing some of those. Then we had more exploration of them. But before that was all alone. Was seeing them. I enjoy them, but one thing about the prejudice of enlightenment that I was still so afraid to be lost in colors and light and temptation. Like I remember at that time hearing about the story of Christ when he went in the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights. Then in the 40 days, Satan showed up to him and he said, look, and showed him all the kingdoms. And he said to him, if you follow me, you can have all the kingdoms. And Christ said to him, what the Lord gives, the Lord takes away. You don't have anything to give me. I was in that kind of mood. I don't want temptations, even chandelier or gold, or they come, I call them blessings. Blessings come, they do emanation, joy, but I wanted the one, alone with the alone. I was absolutist. I just wanted in being. Manifestations, I didn't want. But something in me, and later on I learned more that it's good to question what are those, what do they do? And this is when we developed the Diamond approach and the Diamond Logos, that those qualities, dimensions or vehicles, they have certain functioning to do for our human dimension, a human psyche, human mind, human body, human relationship. These are vehicles that the great being, let's say, created or we created in order to access the dimension of being, the richness of it, into this world. We needed certain tools, certain instrument to convey the energies from the absolute to this realm. Okay. Just to experience this realm, and the absolute and the absoluteness is abstract. It's transcendence. It's beyond this realm. But if I'm going to have a wedding, I would like to maybe have some music, some color, some light, right? Then that, in order to even have this idea, some vehicle had to be created that can give these feelings of celebration, of expression, of manifestation. It was the chandelier. But another time, I might have needed to be the camel in the desert. Chandelier will be waste of energy. If I am crossing the desert dancing, I will die in 2 kilometers. I'll die. But I need to be somebody steady, fast, impeccable like Zazen. Nothing move me, nothing distract me, like a camel. The camel is crosses the desert, preserving the water, the breath, the energy, all of that to cross the long distances. This quality is so different from the chandelier. This is almost ascetic. This is almost pious kind of energy. Then another vehicle landed. And that vehicle, when it manifested, it looked like, I used to call it Battleship Galactica. There was this immense structure above my head, solid, dense, hum to it, but not hum of celebration, hum of groundedness, hum of digging the ground, reaching to the center of the earth.
Dark, black?
No,
color?
it was
Gray?
white. It was white and gold, but it was white diamond and gold diamond. And it looked like a citadel. So I called it the citadel.
Okay.
So the citadel is one of the archetypes we have in our work. A vehicle, when it lands, it gives you solidity, groundedness, steadfastness, that even when the devil comes to tempt you, said, no way. What the Lord gives, the Lord takes away. You don't. So the ego cannot come and take what you gained, because the ego will interfere and say, oh, I am chandelier today. I'm going to spend my life being just, producing honey and dancing. Says, no, I need sometimes to do something else. Sometimes I need to do this. Sometimes I celebrate. Sometimes I dance. Sometimes I create. Sometimes I generate. So little by little, began to discover that in this hidden realm, there were different kind of structures, archetypes. One of them looked like a citadel. One of them looked like a cathedral, or a mosque or a temple. One of them looked like the chandelier. One of them looked like stupa. So I saw that we have them on earth. Some people downloaded them way before I realized them. And by me feeling them, feeling assured, I'm not going crazy, that these are really qualities of the human soul, a human being. I began to detect what they do. In order to celebrate, in order to express, I need to let the feminine side of me be born, and colorful and light. There is no way I could wear colorful clothes when I was in Kuwait. I was a guy. I was, guys, they don't, but now I wear colorful clothes if I want to. To celebrate, I do. And to do transmissions, I put on different robes. Today I wear this robe. Today I wear that robe. I needed to interject in my life sense of celebration. But when I needed to also stay with the issues and persevere and continue with the process, so I don't get lost in just getting drunkard with essence, I needed a citadel. Citadel came. But sometimes I felt like I was like in just being unreachable. I am just openness in the absolute, but something missing in the human bonding, in the human belonging, in the human intimacy. Maybe it's not that important, but it's really important, and really feeling that feeling, then another quality was born, another vehicle was born. We call it the pearl. Pearl, P-E-R-L, pearliness is a substance that gives a sense of contactfulness, belonging, sharing, affinity. And there's the usual pearl, the white pearl, and there is also multicolored pearls. And each one gives the ability to connect. I can connect with you in a normal way, that's the normal pearl. I can connect with you in a very personal, peaceful way. And I can be a black pearl. And you can be black pearl, and we'll be together, sitting peacefully together, connecting in peace. And we can connect in compassion. We both feel the same affinity, the same feeling. So different quality, different color pearls, different substances pearl give different part of what we did. Then came,
Wait, before you move on to the next very profound subject, so the pearl, you say it descended upon you. Could you just talk a little bit about your experience with that?
I mean, the pearl, it's not exactly, the pearl was one of the things that didn't descend, it's more like emerged. Like I felt like in my heart, I was very open, and full of radiance and unconditional love. But I felt missing some of the closeness,
Mhm.
some of
Right,
the,
this Zen non-attachment kind of mode.
yeah, some kind of attachment. I was in so much non-attachment, openness, and all of those things. This feeling of attachment, after a lot of struggle about it, I accepted that. I used to feel it with my friends, with my family. I was very pearly, very personal. But reaching the absolute, I became impersonal.
Mm.
Like everything comes and everything goes, no attachment, let it go. But this feeling felt almost like nostalgic. I missed it. And I remember, I remember judging, saying, "Oh, I am becoming foolish again." You know, I want to be attached. I want to connect. I want to bond. But now, why don't you accept freedom? Then I realized, no, I wasn't. Something was empty in my heart.
So may I ask, Faisal, during that time when you were sort of in a Zen non-attachment space, let's say,
Yes.
the way that manifest in the world with others was what?
Acceptance, openness, presence, non-attachment, uh, just being there. But it always felt that we are all in the same thing, in the same field, in the same presence. No barrier, no boundary. I could feel them, but something about the personal was not so important. The
So
personal,
as a therapist, you're saying you're in this
even
mode.
even as among friends, even with family, it felt like I was also non-attached. Somehow I let go of that. I cherish them, I enjoy them, but there was like a distance of anything that's going to be personal. It felt like it could go into ego, and I stopped it before it could escalate into ego.
Got it. Okay.
So somehow there was a prejudice against the personal, because the personal was associated with ego and associated with attachment. And attachment means, interference and suffering and holding.
Okay.
So there were the impulses to be personal, and I wasn't like, I'm not a 5, I'm a 4. So I want to relate, I want to feel, I want to connect, but not enmeshed, not all of those things. I couldn't find the middle ground. I was teetering on, how to do it. And when I felt that feeling there, that I really missed that, as if a hole opened up, even though the absolute is here, awareness here, but there was a hole in my heart. And when I felt the hole, I felt, yeah, I really was missing this precious connection, away from the attachment, away from the ego. The ego is there, it's always there, it's not, but there was also something more personal. I couldn't sit with my ego, with my clients, just detached and not attached and not feeling and not sharing and not connecting. So that led to the feeling of the hole in my heart, and the hole, as if something started to as if the heart became like a manger, and in the manger there was like soul child, little drop of pearl, there, glowing.
Little Jesus.
Yeah, and then it developed into more like that.
Mm-hmm.
So then came these vehicles. These are major archetypes. They help with the personality structure, and those qualities can come in any color, any light, and they help enhance our experience of ourselves and of life in multifaceted ways. I believe those vehicles can be even detected and measured by science. The Oberon machine can detect some of those emanations, but I feel we are in the threshold of a greater science that's going to open all the veils. There'll be nothing called mystical, mysterious. You have to go to the Tibet or something. it happens in downtown Berkeley. This is how most of those essential states happen, downtown Berkeley. And it doesn't have to be kosher food. We had kosher food and non-kosher food, and it happened. We used to drink coffee and cream cheese and bagels, lousy, but it happened. So it can, this is the hope that these essential states, these dimensions, this is what we are. Just because we get separated from it, cut off from it, it doesn't mean it has become in heaven or spiritual. It's human. In fact, I tell you, the absolute to me is the human being. This is the being. If you ask what is the being of humanity, is what they call Buddha nature, enlightened nature. Allah is the human being. There is nothing to me beyond the human being. Nothing.
So it's the life force that is the being.
The life force is the human being. But the human soul is not the being, something else. It's existing in the being. So there is the being, there is the soul, there is the mind, there is the body. You know? All of that from, I love it, the guidance of the Christ when he says, I am the Alpha and the Omega. I am the ego and I am the absolute and all the range in between. All. This is the glory to me of what we are, the human being. The whole universe is nothing but the human being. It's being of the human. We created this being and it creates us. That's another teaching, you know, the glory about what we are, the human being. There is nothing beyond the human being. We are the Alpha, we are the Omega, I am the way, I am the light, I am the truth. He didn't leave anything. You know, I mean, he could be very narcissistic, but that's what we are. Ultimate narcissism. And for me, there is no healing for narcissism, for our alienation, for our suffering. All humanity are narcissists. They are all seeking self. Everybody looking for themselves. That's narcissism. Why is all humanity plagued by it? Whether visible or invisible, whether obvious narcissism or unobvious narcissism, whether healthy narcissism or pathological narcissism, we all suffer from that. Why? Because we seek who we are. We seek who we are because we are the most glorious there is. God is the ultimate narcissist. Read the Bible, I and me and myself, all the time, God talking about, you know. Really. So that to me simplified everything. It didn't diminish anything. It's glorious. We are glorious in a glorious kingdom. God knows, I hope someday we know the knowledge of how we came to be. How did we do this magical, awesome kingdom? But every human being can reach pure being, can reach the essential states, can develop an ego, can interact with this world. It's accessible to us. But it needs work now. I pray the day come when the doors or the locks will be opened. Now there are seals to those domains. I don't know why we can't just all humanity feel the absolute. Like, you know, why can't the fish feel the ocean? Why is enlightenment something to be reached? As if the fish have to go a long distance to reach the ocean. It's in the ocean. Why can't we realize it? Why isn't this awareness that's looking for it? Is it itself? It's very little awareness that's searching for it. Is the drop from the ocean? Why can't this happen? There are this phenomena that we live in that's really amazing. Fish in the ocean cannot feel the ocean, wondering what the ocean is. But the good news, that thing I share, as I said, I am a pioneer. I go explore and I say, look, there is chandeliers, there are essential vehicles, there are these things. Please open up, please have the courage to look, deal with the issues that come up, follow some of the guidance and all of those things. And let's open up to the kingdom at hand. He mentioned it 2,000 years ago. He said the kingdom of heaven is at hand. As a friend of mine said, paradise, you can read it as parade eyes, where the eyes parade. And where do the eyes parade? Here it is. The absolute became essence, and essence became trees and sky and air. It is the kingdom manifesting. That's to me the hope, the news. The hard work is something else. How to reach it. I just share some of the glory of this. You know, what I've seen, trying to summarize it, trying to encourage it, trying to aspire people, advise them, please be careful. Be really careful. This journey is very challenging, and it requires patience and wisdom and perseverance and guidance and companionship. We really need companionship. We need to counsel each other. We need to guide each other. We fall into traps and holes. That we need love and care to reach it, to navigate it. But the kingdom is here.
I call it dharmic siblings.
Yes, yes, beautiful. We need that.
You have to be non-binary now.
Yes, we need that. We really need that. But this is the glory.
So Faisal, this is an exquisite bookmark for our next conversation. And I would love if you would, once again, just brief summary of the three realms, right? What you're talking about, just a summary.
Yes.